Welcome to another great Inform Your Community Celebrate and Create event. My name is Robbie. I use he, him pronouns. I'm wearing a gray shirt. I'm gingery white guy in my dining room. Um, at Inform Your Community, as you probably know, we offer events that combine information with fun. You can visit us at informyourcommunity.org. You can find our social media links on the bottom of our website. Tell your friends to sign up on our mailing list. And of course, you can use the donate link on our website to help us keep our events free. If you're watching the recording of this on YouTube, please take a moment to like and subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about Chinese and Chinese American culture. It's an important topic to discuss because Lunar New Year, if you can believe it, is in 2 weeks on February 10th. So 3.5 million households in the US speak Chinese at home. It seems like a good idea for us to learn more about Chinese culture, doesn't it? This event is part of Celebrate and Create, where children engage in unique craft projects inspired by inclusive monthly celebration themes. This one is Lunar New Year. And we're grateful to have Mike help us with tech today. He's going to help us monitor the chat as well. Throughout the event, if you have any questions, you can type it into the chat. You can unmute yourself. You can feel free. And Stacy is our master crafter, as always. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Robbie.
How are you today?
I am doing well. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to see some smiling faces in the audience, eagerly awaiting our craft. So thank you all for coming. Should I tell you about our craft today?
Yes, please.
Excellent. So I am so excited. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm wearing a yellow shirt. I've got salt and pepper hair with purple tips. I'm a white woman with a black background. And I want to tell you about why I picked this craft in particular. And our craft, this is actually the one we did last year, but our craft is going to look something like this in the end, a version of that. And I want to tell you why I chose this craft. And so I live near Chinatown in New York City. And so all the time around Lunar New Year, but also at other times of the year, I've seen these kind of red envelopes. And so I've always been curious about them. I've always thought they'd looked so cool. I love this idea that your gift comes in a beautiful envelope. And I love that what we're going to make is an envelope that can have some sentimental value, that can be used over and over again. And that's an envelope that's handmade as well. So the envelope itself is a keepsake or part of the gift too. So I'm really excited about that. And I want to know, does anybody on this call know how you say red envelope or the words you use to say red envelope in Mandarin or Cantonese and want to share with us?
I do not.
Anybody want to share? Okay. If not, I will go ahead. So Hang Bao is what these red envelopes are referred to in Mandarin. And in Cantonese, we would say Lei Si. So, but we're going to call them red envelopes throughout the event today. So these red envelopes usually contain some kind of a gift. Usually it's money, and it's for best wishes and good luck, traditionally given to friends and family for different kinds of celebrations, but we often see them at Lunar New Year. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead, since Lunar New Year is just around the corner, like Robbie told us, we're going to go ahead and make these.
Let's get started.
Yes, let's go for it. So I want to make sure everybody has the materials, and Mike is going to go ahead and put the materials in the chat for those of you who might not have our kit or who are watching this later on our YouTube channel and who don't have our kit, so you will know what materials to use. I will say them as well. But I will start off to say everybody needs scissors. So everybody go grab some scissors. If you don't have our kit, here are some things you need to look around for in your home if you want to do this craft with your own materials. Red felt, red foam, and I have some of these materials here just to show you. So some red felt. You might have this lying around. You just need a relatively small piece, about the size of a postcard would probably be the right size. So some red felt would work. You can use some red foam if you have some foam. Again, you just need a small amount. You can use cardstock. So if you have just white cardstock or even white paper, that's totally fine. And then you can have some red markers or some red crayons that you can then color it to make it red, or make decorations on it with red, to keep in that theme of a red envelope. Or in a pinch, what you can do is, if you have any kind of cardstock material, some kind of thick paper material, you can use that. So for example, I have this file folder that's kind of damaged. And so I'm thinking I might use this for a red envelope, because it's kind of thick, it's already red, and I can use that. So also, so you basically just need a base, red foam, red felt, construction paper, white paper you can color on, or some kind of recycled material in a red theme. You also, if you have the white paper, you're going to want to have the red marker, red crayon. Additionally, I recommend having a button of some kind. Could be any button lying around your house. Could be fancy one, could be not fancy one, okay? 2 or 4 holes in it is fine. I recommend bigger holes is probably better, but only if you have like little fingers, it's harder with smaller holes. Also, you want some kind of a thread, because you have to attach the button on to your red envelope somehow. So some kind of a thread. This is a little thicker white material thread. This is a thinner red thread. So some kind of a thread would be great. In a pinch, you can just use the button decoratively. So anyway, you're going to need some glue no matter what for our craft, either some stick glue, or you can use white glue. Stick glue is a little bit easier for this one. And you can always just make the button not functional and just glue it on if you need to, if you don't have the thread. Also, I recommend, it's a little bit easier if you have a paper clip. Any kind of paper clip will do. So just to kind of help us hold it together, especially with that glue. And some glitter would be great. It is entirely optional. And then a pencil, if you have it, if you want to draw something on it, if you're using paper anyway, you might as well draw some stuff on it. And particularly a dragon, since it's the year of the dragon. And I think that's it, if you don't have our kit. If you do have our kit, now's a great time to take it out, but keep in mind there is a small button in there. So if you have that small button, you don't want to just kind of open it and it flies everywhere, especially if you have small kids around. So just make sure you're opening it gently. So your kit will have a button. Your kit will have a piece of felt that has 2 holes in it attached to a paper with paper clip. Do not take those apart. If you already have it, it's okay. Try to put them back together. Make sure the holes in the paper line up to the holes in the felt. So if it ever gets detached, you just want to make sure those 2 line up, and put that paper clip back on it. You're going to have a piece of red string. Nice thing about our kits is we come with all the material. You're going to have 2 little strips. They seem like paper, but actually they're an adhesive. It's a double-sided tape. And of course, you have some additional material like information about Inform Your Community, as well as our infographic about Chinese culture, which you can find on our website under Chinese culture, our Get Informed page under Chinese culture. And we will also send that along with a video out after the sometime, hopefully this coming week. In addition, you will have some glitter. You will have this decorative piece. Let's see, can I get it on camera? There you go. Ooh, there you go. That decorative piece, a version of that. Maybe it's silver, maybe it's gold. It is not a sticker, but we'll be able to get that on. Don't worry, if you want it. And a sticker that's in the dragon theme. Okay. And then you'll have 1 square piece. Again, it looks like paper, but it's actually double-sided tape. So that's if you have our wonderful kit.
Hey,
So
Stacy,
while,
can I
oh,
interrupt for a second? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I did put all that in the chat. So if you are having trouble following along, you could get that in the chat. Also, as the tech person, I'd like to say that some people may be watching this on YouTube right now. So if you are watching on YouTube, it's a great time to like and subscribe. That helps other people that find this video that would find it interesting. And just so you know, I thought I'd stall a little bit to get time, although I do see on camera there's some clever people out there that have all the stuff and they're holding it up. So you definitely have some people following along, and maybe I'll stall a little bit for anybody else that needs to gather some of this equipment. But it's a great time to like and subscribe. Robbie, I'm sorry to interrupt.
no, it's okay. That was good.
So, and actually, along the times of giving people some opportunity to get their materials, I'm wondering if I can tell you a little bit about Chinese history. Is that okay? Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
why we're here.
Excellent. Right. This is what we want to hear about, right? So Chinese history begins in the first dynasty, and that is in China between 2100 and 1600 BC. So that's so long ago that there's not even much information about its existence. We know it existed, but we don't know a lot about it. That's how long ago it was. About 1,000 years after that, in around 770 BC and onward, a really key period in Chinese civilization happened, known as the Age of Confucius. And you guys might have heard Confucius at some point, but it's Age of Confucius, Taoism, and legalism. And these were marked, unfortunately, by war, but also great advances in philosophy and science, agriculture, and literature. So very important period in Chinese history. And then about 500 years later, in about 200 BC, you might have heard about the terracotta soldiers. And if you haven't, you have to look this up. The terracotta soldiers are these lifelike soldiers, statues of soldiers that they're huge, that have lasted this whole time. They've been around for 2,000 years, but we've over 2,000 years, but they were only discovered 50 years ago. So they were there the whole time and nobody knew about it.
And there's thousands of them, right?
There's 8,000. Thank you. Yes, there's 8,000 of them. It's so absolutely amazing. And of course, carving is something that's very much an art form, definitely recognized in Chinese culture. And one of the main kind of materials that is carved is jade. And so jade is a stone, and it's carved for jewelry, it's carved for figurines, and it's a symbol of prosperity, preciousness, and beauty, among other meanings as well.
Wow. Well, speaking of art, should we get started with our artsy little craft?
I think we should. I think now is a good time. So for those of you with our kit, okay, you're going to take this piece of paper that's attached to the felt. Keep them together, though, until I tell you otherwise. You've got to keep these two together. What you're going to notice is that in every corner, there is a little piece that we need to remove, okay? And we're going to cut it. So in two of the corners on one side, they are small little pieces about the size of your fingertip. And then on the two other corners, they're about the size of the length of your finger. Okay, so we're going to cut those. So I want you to make sure you cut the right area. So do it slow, make sure you've got the right spot. I want you to hold your paper kind of firm with the felt together, okay? And let's start with the little tiny one on top by the paper clip. And we're just gonna cut that little square out, okay? So you're just gonna cut it. Here, let's see if I can do it here. Just gonna cut that little square. Okay, just like that. And we're going to put that aside. Okay. So that's the first step. Then we're going to turn it a little bit. We're going to cut the next little tiny square. So you can see it. Let's see. You can see this little square. And we're just going to cut that one out. Try to get your felt to be at the end, even with the paper. Okay. And you're going to just cut out that little square. Those of you who don't have our kit, we're going to get to you in just a second. So we got to cut that side. And then we're going to turn it again. We're going to take the finger-sized portion and we're going to cut that out. Make sure that the felt is flush with the end of the paper as well. And again, we're going to cut and then cut. And I might be doing it a little quick for you, but that's fine. Once you get the hang of it, you can take your time doing it. Okay. Just getting this little fluff that's there out. And now we just have the one corner. This one's a little bit bigger than the last one, but the same kind of length. Okay. So you're going to make sure that it's flush. The edge of the paper and the edge of the felt are the same. And then you're going to cut. Now, there you go. Okay. Now, if you don't have our kit, there's two ways you can do this, okay? So you can see we did it on the paper first, and we attached the paper to the felt. If you are just using paper, you don't need to do it on one first and then attach it because you only have the one material, okay? But since felt and foam are a little bit hard to write on, maybe it's a little hard to cut, maybe you want to cut your paper first and then as a template and then cut your felt. So I'm just going to show you, and you can do it kind of approximate. It's fine. It's not an exact, kind of a thing. What you want, and I'm using my envelope here, my file folder here, you can draw it out first if you want, but basically you want about a 5 by 6 inch square. If you think about it, it's about the size of your hand. So I'm doing it right now without measuring. It's about the size of your hand. If you've got little hands, do it a bit bigger, maybe the size of your parent's hand, but you can kind of see that that's for me. In my case, I cut out 2 because it's a folder. So I just need one of these pieces, okay? And so you can put that on a template first and then cut out your foam, or you can just cut it out at the beginning, okay? Once you do that, and you can see it's about the size. Hey, am I good or what, Robbie? Look at that. That was freehand.
You're so good at this.
Okay, so once you have it cut out, you're going to do the same thing that the folks with our kit did, except you have to approximate a little bit. All you need to know is on one side, you're doing the long finger pieces. On the other side, you're just doing little corners, okay? So let's do the little corner side first. So if you have your kit at home, just a little tiny square, maybe 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, maybe the size of a thumb tip. Same thing on the other, making sure, yep, same thing on the other side, about the same size, okay? And this is a pretty forgiving craft and material, so we can always adjust it later. So once you've done those two, then you're going to turn it, and now you want the finger size. And essentially, I don't know if you noticed, but the part sticking out is about the same size as the part you cut, okay? Because they're going to fold over each other. That's how we get the envelope. So with this part that you have left here, I would say cut right about in the middle of it. If anything, move a little bit more towards your edge, but right about in the middle of it, okay? Then you can flip it the other way, do the same thing, right about in the middle of it, okay? And then you can go ahead, then it's easier, cut straight across as if you're aiming for that other side, but leave this little part in the middle, okay? So cut straight across, like you're aiming to go to the other side, so it's even, but you're going to leave that flap in the middle. And now you can see that basically, hey, I did it again, pretty good, pretty good. Basically, you've got the same shape, okay? So, while folks are cutting, because I know that could take a little time, I can't help but mention that it's lunchtime. We started doing our event, it's 1 p.m. on the East Coast. And it's around lunchtime for me, so I'm getting a little bit hungry. And I mentioned that Chinatown is nearby, so I might go head over there after this craft and get some dim sum. The funny thing about dim sum is that I was using that word entirely wrong. I thought that the word meant appetite. Sorry, I thought the word meant dumplings. That's what I always thought that dim sum meant. Turns out it doesn't. Dim sum actually comes from a Cantonese word, tim sum, that means appetizer, or literally translated, touch the heart. And so the small portions are not meant to be like a lunch or really fill you up. They're supposed to be a snack. And usually they're served with tea. This dim sum is very much a part of Chinese culture. So you'll see it, let's say, if you have a Chinatown in your community. So I'm hungry, but we've got to get back to our craft. So we can move on to step 2. If I am going too fast for anyone, please let me know. And if there's anything I can clarify, please let me know that as well. If you have any questions, or if you're going along and you want us to see what you're making, by all means, feel free to turn your camera on and show us. So if you have our kit, you'll notice that I've already used a hole puncher, which is, it looks like this. and poke some holes in it, right? We have those there. There's holes in the paper and there's holes with the in the red felt. If you'll notice my holes are tiny. Let's see, can I show you? Look how tiny they are. Tiny. But if you have a regular hole puncher, those holes for a regular hole puncher are going to be much bigger. Okay, much bigger than my holes. So that'll come in important later for those of you who don't have our kit. But for those of you who do have our kit, we have these tiny holes. So let's see. So put your hole punched part on your left side. Okay, so left side, this is my left hand. It might be in your right on the image, but it's my left hand. So, and you're going to find one of those white strips that the kit came with. Okay, so one of these white strips that the kit came with. And you're going to peel like you would peel a sticker, because really it's kind of like a sticker. You're going to peel half of that off. If you can't do it because it's a little tough for fine motor skill, if you have smaller fingers, you're going to maybe ask a parent to help you or a guardian to help you, big sister, big brother. So go ahead and peel off one side of that. Okay. Then you're going to stick that to the right side. And actually, you can go ahead and take off, you can take off your paper clip and your piece of paper now. So you can go ahead and take that off. So you just have your fabric. Okay. You're going to go ahead and put that white strip on this long flap part. Oops, there you go. The long flap part of your, I'll put it in the main camera, that long, thin, looks like a little flap on your kit. So you've got one side of that's sticky. You're going to put it right onto that. Okay, and push down really hard. Okay. And it should be just the right size for that. I want you to take the other sticker. Okay, take the other one. And this one, I want you to cut in half. Okay, so you're going to just cut in half. You could actually try to rip it if you wanted to. It's really hard to rip because that sticker is on plastic. So I wouldn't try to rip it, but you're going to cut it in half. And then you're going to also peel it off. Okay, let's see. How is
You
my...
saw Ruby's comment?
So let's see. I think somebody mentioned about the camera angle. Let me move my stuff up. Is that a little better? If you want to let me know in the chat. Let's see. Okay.
I think that might be better.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent point.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up.
Thank you. So you're going to peel that off again. And now you're going to put that on the small side on the bottom. And I know it's hard, like, well, what's the bottom? It's the opposite side where the holes are punched. So the holes are punched up here. So that means this is the bottom. And so you're going to put it there on that. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't have our kit, you're going to have your piece. You're going to want to have your glue handy. It's a little bit easier and less messy if it's not the white glue and if it's a stick glue, but you can definitely do it with the white glue. No problem at all. Just have a little bit more patience. And maybe don't mind it being a little messy. So in that case, and I don't want you to do it yet, but eventually we're going to do the same thing just with the glue. Okay, but don't do it yet. So now, so on this bottom piece, you're going to actually, I'm sorry, no, on the side piece, which one do I want to do first? Nope, I want to do the bottom piece. On the bottom piece, you're going to peel it again. Now, this is the tricky part because you kind of, if you try to peel it too quickly or too hard, you're going to just pull that whole strip right off. And it's going to be hard for it to stick again because it'll have all that felt on it. So you want to kind of hold down the sticky while you're doing it and then peel. Okay. But don't do anything with it once you peel it off. Just leave it like that. Then you're going to go ahead and, oh my gosh, I messed up. I'm so sorry, everybody. Hold on. You've got to do it on the opposite side. Oh, look at me messing up, Robbie. I was so proud of myself. And I messed up. So actually, you want that sticky, and you can use the other half if it does become too much felt on it. You can just use the other half and peel it again and start again. It's actually supposed to be on the other side, which you'll understand why in a second. So I stand corrected. Let me clarify. One sticky is going to be on this side. You're going to take off the sticky I made you do accidentally on that side, flip it over, put it on the other side. So I am very sorry about that.
Even master crafters make mistakes.
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you. Um, if it's too like fuzzy now and it won't stick, just use the other half that you had, and do it on the correct side, unlike I had to do. So okay, so you have one sticker on this side, and you have that other sticker here. Okay, you're now going to peel the other sticker. Again, make sure you're kind of. I use my nails. It's easier if you have your nails kind of pull off the sticky from the paper. Peel up, make sure you're holding that sticky down as you do it, and do it a little bit slow. And there you go. So then, and this is where it gets tricky. You're going to pull up that one, which is why we needed to do it on the other side. So sorry about that. You're going to pull up the small bottom part. Okay, notice I did that. I pulled up the small bottom part. So now that you can feel the sticky, you're going to pull over the part we didn't put any sticky on and stick it to that bottom part. Okay. Press really firm. And then you're going to pull over the little tab, that long tab part, and push that on top of that other piece right there. That is the hardest part of this craft, right there. And now it's all stuck together. Okay. For those of you, and I'll show you again on this one, you're pulling up the small tab. You pull over. In this case, this was from last year, so I did it differently. But anyway, you're going to pull over the side that we don't have anything on, then pull over the side that's got the other sticky on it, and you're going to press down. Okay. So the main thing is to just make sure that when you do it, there's nothing flapping open is really what you need to do there. Now, if you don't have our kit and you're doing this at home, same exact process, but you just have to use the sticky glue. One sticky glue on this side. Okay, you can do it on the, and this time I'm doing it on the tab. Really, it kind of doesn't matter. You can do it on one side, do it on the other side. Flip it over and do the glue on the other side of it. Fold, it's paper, it's probably paper that you have. Fold that tab up, okay? Take the side that does not have any sticky on it, fold it over. And you're going to crease it as you're doing it. Push it down where it's supposed to be sticking to the glue. And then the other side that's sticky. Wow, my glue already dried. That was quick. Yeah, the other side that's sticky, I put a little bit more glue on it. Fold that over. Increase it as you're doing it. And this is where if you don't have our craft kit, you may want to put your paper clip. If you have two of them, that's great too, to hold it down, especially if you have white glue, so that it has some time to adhere while we're moving on to other steps. So that was complicated. If anybody's lost or needs more help, by all means, please be sure to let me know. Raise your hand or put it in the chat. So while you folks are getting your basic envelope shape set, I just want to mention that giving these envelopes are part of like a special occasion, and very much in line with some fundamental values in Chinese culture. So particularly filial piety, which is maybe not a concept that everybody is familiar with, but in Chinese culture, it's the idea of particularly respecting our parents, which is something we all should be doing, even as adults. I respect my parents, and caring for family. Those are ideas that are very important in Chinese culture. Additionally, benevolence, which means being kind, right? Being kind to other people, which is a good thing for all of us to do. And I know there's many values that are associated with Confucianism, which is a Chinese philosophy, that are incredibly important. Things like loyalty and modesty, restraint, humility, harmony. All of these are important for Confucianism. And I also this idea that there's a collective good, and that collective good that matters, and that sometimes it kind of matters more than our individual good. So we might benefit from something individually, but that we should be thinking about like what will benefit everyone, right? How can we do good for the group? So these are wonderful values. And considering that these are some kind of Chinese cultural values, it's really surprising that about 150 years ago, Americans in the United States were not very happy that there was a kind of influx of Chinese folks coming into the United States. And the government passed a law in 1882 called the Chinese Exclusion Act. And that was the first and only law in the United States that essentially forbid an entire ethnic group from coming to the country. Well, thankfully, we've come a long way since then. And in 1990, about 35 years ago, President George H. Bush designated May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month to show support for the Asian American community. So we've come a long way. It's celebrated each year. And the month of May was chosen to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese people to the United States, and to mark the anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. So this is a railroad that goes across the country that was completed in 1869. And there were a lot of Chinese immigrants who were integral in working on that construction to build that railroad line and helped lay the tracks for it. So really wonderful accomplishment in the United States that Chinese immigrants really contributed to tremendously. Sadly, there's still a lot of misunderstanding and hate, not only to Chinese immigrants and Chinese Americans, but to a lot of different Asian groups. During COVID, unfortunately, in just a 2-year period, there was 11,000 incidents of people being verbally or physically abusive to Asian people in the United States, which is, of course, a horrible, horrible thing. But there's good news too. Nowadays, more and more people are celebrating Lunar New Year. And in New York City, for example, the public school system has just in 2023, just last year, declared Lunar New Year to be a holiday for the public schools here. Which was really quite an accomplishment. So I was very happy to see that this year for my kids being in school, and they get Lunar New Year as a holiday. Well, I'm sure you're done with making your envelopes. If you have any questions, you'll let me know, or if I go too fast. And Robbie will let me know if I'm running out of time. So our next part is to attach the button. Now, you can absolutely use this craft right now as it is without a button. So I'll just let you know, all you would need to do is kind of tuck that envelope in. And a lot of times you'll actually see the envelopes, that's how they're sealed, is they're just tucked in, right? And you can just use it that way, ignore the 2 little holes in it, right? Or if you have your kid at home, same thing, you just fold the top over and there's your envelope, right? You can even seal it with a seal if you want to. You do not have to do this button part. Having said that, you can see from the one from last year, it's kind of cute to have that little button there. And I'll show you on the big screen here. You have that little button. And we're going to make it so that you can actually use the button to seal it. And once you do that, look how cute that looks. So this is kind of an advanced strategy. It's definitely harder for little fingers. It's going to be the same process if you have our kit or if you don't have our kit. The only difference is, first, if you don't have your kit, you need to get 2 holes. Oops, not in there. You need to get 2 holes into this part of your envelope. Okay, now you could cut it, and you can take these paper clips off. At this point, it's probably dry. Wow, mine's pretty sturdy there. So you can take off your paper clips, and you need to somehow get 2 little holes in here. Okay, 2 little holes in that space.
Hey,
So
Stace,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I think someone had a question. Did someone have a question in the audience? I saw someone. Yeah. If you want to speak, you have to unmute your Zoom.
Okay. So what I wanted to talk about is the history that she was talking about. I learned some of that in school.
That's fantastic. Was your school celebrating Lunar New Year?
Yes.
That's fantastic. It is a great, it is great when schools are educating about Chinese culture. I'm so glad you heard about some of that stuff. Thank you for sharing. That's fantastic.
You're welcome.
So great. And definitely feel free. Anybody who wants to tell us some more, definitely let us know. So I'm going to suggest you actually might have a paper clip. It might be the easier way to go. Maybe do this with supervision. You may have a hole punch, but the hole punch is going to be pretty big holes that you're going to end up making, and they're going to be bigger than that button. It'll be fine, but you'll see the holes unless you have a really big button. And you might have a scissor that's sharp enough. Again, you've got to be careful. If you have a sharp scissor, maybe that's something a grown-up can do. If you have a pen also, you can probably just punch the hole in. So depending on your material, I'm going to try to do it with my paper clip. I'm just going to go ahead and punch 2 little holes in here. I don't know if you can see it at that angle. See, I just punched the 2 little holes in, but you could use your scissor perhaps. You could use a hole punch, or you don't have to do the holes at all. You can just put some glue on it, and then you can end up putting you're just gluing your bead to it, your button to it, so that it's decorative. That is all fine. Once you do decide how you're going to do that, if you don't have our kit, then we're all on the same page about what to do next. Essentially, you're going to cut your thread, take your thread if you have our kit, and take your button. Okay, I'm going to use this white one because it'll stand out a bit. And the idea is put let's see how, let me see. Yeah, there you go. Put your thread through the hole. So on one side, put your thread through that hole. And if you have a little like flap left over from when we did the hole punching, you can just throw that out. But you're basically just going to take each side of the string and put it right through the hole. Okay, so you'll have your string hanging out. Okay, try not to pull too hard because you'll end up pulling it straight out of that other side. So you don't want to do that. Once you have your string out, and if you're finding it hard to kind of thread the string through, one of the things you can do is just cut a little bit of the ends of it, because it might be frayed. I don't know if you can see on camera here. Let me see if I can put it in the main one. You can see the ends are kind of frayed. Okay, and you don't want them frayed. It makes it a little bit harder. You can just cut the ends off. Once you do that, then it will be a lot easier for it to get to go through those holes. Okay, so if you're having trouble getting it through the holes, just cut the tips a little bit so they're not frayed anymore. Once you do get it through the holes, you're just going to put one of the strings through one hole and one of the strings through the other hole. And then there you have it. And then you can just tie them together. If you want it to look a little bit, if you don't want your knot to be in the front, you would basically just reverse what we did. You would put your holes into your button first, and then put the holes through your envelope. And then you would knot it in the back. But knotting it in the back takes a little bit more kind of fine motor skill, so it's a little harder to do. And I think it looks awfully cute, whether it's in the front or the back. Anyway, so, and then you're going to cut off the string that's left over. Always leave a little bit of the string because otherwise the knot might just get undone. Okay, so now we have our button. Whether you did that on your felt version from our craft kit or you did it on the paper version, you've got that. And let me see. I know that we need to make a cut. Let's see. Yeah, let's make our cut next. Okay, so now this is going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you on the paper version first, okay? Because you kind of have to bend you kind of have to, you kind of have to bend your paper version a little bit. Just be gentle. You don't want to like end up creasing the whole thing. Paper tends to have crease marks on it. It won't look as nice. If it does end up having crease marks, it's fine. You can see now this one at the top here is a little creased. It's okay. That's not a problem, right? So you're going to crease it. And before you do it, watch what I'm doing. You're going to just do a little tiny nick in it. Okay? I just want to make sure you're doing it in the right direction. You don't want that nick to be up and down. It would still work, except especially on paper, you would inevitably, as you put that button on and off, it would be very weak at the top and you would end up ripping it. If you end up ripping it, you can always put tape on it. It's not a problem, but it's a little bit better if you do it diagonal. So not diagonal, across, we would say horizontal. Okay, so try to do a horizontal nick rather than a horizontal nick rather than a vertical nick. Okay, so you can see that there, the line goes in the same direction as this. Okay, parallel, we would say. So now if you have our kit, it's a bit easier because you're working with felt. You're not going to need to worry about creases. Felt is a very forgiving fabric. You're just going to do a little tiny nick. And the point, if you didn't realize, is you want to get your button through that. So if you have a bigger button, you make a bigger hole. You have a smaller button, you make a smaller hole. Okay. Again, felt is pretty forgiving. It's not likely to tear as long as you don't do it very, very close to the end. So once you have that, check this out. And I would love to see it. If anybody's done it, I would love to see it. Look how cute that is. You have your envelope that you can close and open whenever you want.
Perfect.
Same thing with the paper, but you have to be really gentle. It's not going to last as long as if you're using cardboard or paper. So you probably don't even want to try doing it right now to put it over. Wait until you know who you're going to give your gift to. When you give your gift, put it over, and that'll be the kind of one and only time you'll be able to use the paper one, because it's going to probably rip pretty quickly. Okay.
Well, while our crafters are adding their buttons,
Nice.
because it might
Anybody
take
want to show me?
time.
Somebody wants to,
Oh,
I think somebody wants to show. Ava and Nova, do you want to show us what you've got? If you don't
we've
want
got
to, that's
some.
fine. Did you get to do that part yet?
Nova's finished, I think, but I'm still working on it.
Not yet.
Oh.
Okay, it's okay. You let us know. Thank you so much. Okay, so, and if we're going too fast, let us know. So you have this, right? You can do it on and off. It's fantastic. So, let's see. I'm going to tell you some other things that our children on this, our children on our call might find interesting is animals. I love animals. I know my kids love animals, and animals are important symbols in Chinese culture. And actually, Chinese people use 12 different symbolic animals as a way to record years or a person's age. And for example, this Lunar New Year is the year of the dragon. Okay, so the year of the dragon, and you can see my dragon here. And so if you were born in the year of the dragon, you would be called a dragon baby. So this is a dragon, a Chinese symbol. And I also have this other symbol, which sometimes I've seen. And to tell you the truth, I've often not known, is it a dragon? Is it a lion? What is it? And this is actually a qilin. And this is a dragon-like figure that's often found at temples, but it's more of a mythological creature. So, but this is the year of the dragon. And there's a TV show called Ni Hao Kai Lan. That's an American show about Chinese culture. And that had lots of episodes that involved dragons, pandas, other animals. And even one of the main characters on the show was a tiger. And has anybody heard of that show, Ni Hao Kai Lan?
I think we had someone's hand up, so I don't know if they wanted to say something.
Awesome. It seems like at least one person might have heard about Ni Hao Kai Lan, which is great. Ni Hao Kai Lan. So, and actually my kids watched that all the time when they were younger. And that's how we learned that ni hao meant hello. And shay shay meant thank you. So we got to learn phrases in Chinese, or I should say in Mandarin, that just from watching that show, which is really neat. And I know another phrase that some folks know is a term called feng shui, which is the ancient Chinese art of arranging space and buildings and objects in an environment in order to have kind of harmony and balance, which is kind of neat. I don't think my space does that. I may have to look into that. But anyhow, let's move on to our next step. And I think we're doing good with time. We're almost done, really. If you have our kit, you have some decorations that we're going to use. So this is our, step where we're going to decorate our envelope. If you don't have our kit, that's totally fine. You can decorate it, especially if it's paper and you have your pencil or even your markers or your crayons. It's super easy to decorate it. You can draw. I recommend trying to draw a dragon on it. That would be super cool. Otherwise, you can make anything that's meaningful to you to make this extra special. And we have some stickers if you do have our kit. And so we have, this is what I want you to kind of get handy. We have the glitter. We have our square. We have a sticker. And if I can find it, and we have a seal. Okay, so these are our 4 things that we're going to be using right now. And if you want to put your sticker on it, which is the dragon holding some fruit and their own red envelope with some money in it, you can put that right onto either the front or the back of your envelope. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put mine on. And this sticker, but you don't have to, we're going to have another option as well, or you can just wait to decide. So right now I'm going to take a second. Ooh, there we go. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to peel off that sticker and I'm going to put it right on the back part. And the reason I'm going to do the back part is only because I'm going to put something else in the front. I want a nice, clean, flat surface. And the back part has that edge to it. Okay. So on the front, we're going to go ahead and put our, again, you don't have to do both. This is another option. We're going to take that square, which is a peel and stick square, and we are going to go ahead and now you're new. Now you're not new to this anymore. You're going to go ahead and peel one side of that. Okay, and you'll feel that it's sticky on the other side. Okay, and you're going to put that somewhere on the front. I'm going to try to put mine right in the middle, but you can put it on top, you can put it on the bottom, doesn't matter. You're go ahead and press that down really hard with these double-sided stickers. It's often helpful to make sure there's as sticking to the surface as possible before you peel off the other side. When you peel off that other side, again, try to kind of pinch down that sticky adhesive and then slowly peel it off. You see it's invisible, it's basically invisible. What I'm going to do with mine is I'm going to take the seal, which is kind of like a flower, a symbol, a medallion, and I'm going to put it right in the middle. And so this seal is not a sticker itself, but because this double-sided tape is there, it will stick, so it won't come off. Okay, so you'll have that medallion right there in the middle, but you'll notice it's kind of still sticky. That's no fun. You don't want to give something to somebody that's sticky. It's going to collect all kinds of stuff. So that's where the glitter comes in. And so for those of you who don't have our kit, you can use, if you have glitter, or if you have a drawing that you made, you can cut it out. You can go ahead and use your glue, and you can make a design with your glitter or with your drawing that you made, and you can use your glitter on top of the glue as well to decorate yours. So I warn you before you do this, be careful, the glitter will get everywhere. So if you do have a plate or even just a piece of paper handy, go ahead and put that piece of paper or magazine or a plate, a bowl underneath what you're working on so that it will collect that glitter. It's ideal not to do this just on a table or on the floor or something. You'll get glitter everywhere. So go ahead and pour that glitter right on top. Don't worry about trying to be neat with it because it's only really going to stick to where the sticky is. So I'm going to do this a little high so you can kind of see it better. So go ahead and pour the glitter right over that seal because it won't stick to the seal because the seal is not sticky. So, and I'm going to even go and push down on the glitter. I put a whole lot of glitter on there. I'm going to push it down. And then I'm going to shake it off. Is it Taylor Swift who has that song? Somebody has a song, right? Shake it off. So you're going to shake it off. And now look, you've got a kind of like your medallion is now in a glittered space. Oops, there we go. A glittered space. And it's kind of sparkly. So it makes it look pretty. If you don't want to do that glitter with the double-sided tape, or if you're younger and it's too hard to use that double-sided tape, you can go ahead and just use a glue stick and put that medallion right on there. I'm going to show you up here. Okay. If you have your own from home that you're working on, you can also go ahead. I'm going to use a different color. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of glue on here. I'm going to put it all over this side. In this case, I'm doing the back side, but it could be the front side. And I'm going to, again, over a piece of paper, I'm going to put some glitter on that. Glitter's always just fun. And then put it off. So you can actually make the whole side of it very shiny and glittery if you want to. You can even write your initial in here if you wanted to. There's all kinds of things you can do with that. So you got your envelope, you got it decorated. The last thing I wanted to mention, unless anybody has any questions, you'll let me know, is that Mandarin Chinese characters are called Hanzi, and you could write on the envelope good luck or prosperity, because those characters are very decorative, but also have meaning because they're actually words. They represent words. So really, these characters are often elevated in calligraphy and used as artwork on clothing, as tattoos even. And so they're really a nice way to make your envelope look kind of even more beautiful. So if you want to decorate it that way. So you have your envelope, your red envelope, you've decorated it, and now you just need to think about who you want to gift that to. And I hope you had fun today with your making your envelope and learning a little bit about Chinese culture. If you have one finished, and I'm glad
You have someone with their hand up.
I see a heart out there, which is fantastic. So thank you for the heart. Yes, let's see. Do you want to show me yours, or did you have a question?
I just wanted to show you my envelope, but I did it way more different.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Look at all those decorations. Oh, that's great. And you have something that you put inside with the sticker. That's a great idea. I love that. That is
Thank you.
fantastic. And I like that you have your initials on it too. It looks like you have your initials on it. That looks great. Oh, it's your name, isn't it? I saw. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. We love to see it. And if you want to post on Instagram, anybody, share on social media and tag us. We love to see folks tag us on social media. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for learning about Chinese culture. Have an absolutely wonderful New Year and Lunar New Year. And Robbie,
Thank you.
thank you folks for sharing. And Robbie, what do you want to say left? What have we got?
I just want to say thank you to Stacy. That was awesome. I can't believe that. That was so cool. I love doing this. I loved it last year, and I love that you had little new twists on it this year. It was super cool to put the little note in there. I liked that our crafter did that. So thanks to our wonderful crafters. You were all great. Celebrating Chinese culture is not one and done. right? It's an ongoing conversation. So we're going to send you this video, our infographic in a follow-up email, and some more resources to explore. We encourage you to share our infographic, help others get educated about Chinese culture. Additionally, please consider committing to one weekly act that helps you understand Chinese culture. So getting informed by coming to this event is a great start. Visiting a Chinese American museum or Buddhist temple, go to the local Chinatown or watch a documentary. There's names you can learn of famous American celebrities of Chinese descent, born outside of China, like Bowen Yang, Aquafina, who is half Chinese and half Korean. Our email will include a brief survey of what you thought of the event, so take your time to respond. Your feedback is important to us. And take a moment right now to take our quick poll. We're going to put it on the screen, and it's different than what you're going to get in the email. Our next Celebrate and Create Children's Crafting event is about Black Lives Matter and Black history in the United States. That'll be on February 17th from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Children will be creating their own felt bookmarks with wood beads. And to look for and learn more about Inform Your Community events, not only Celebrate and Create, but we have 5 other programs. Check out our website, informyourcommunity.org. We also have an online movie night. And actually there's one about intersectionality coming up.
Mhm.
We're going to be watching a movie February 1st from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be starting a knitting project.
Oh, sorry. No, it's
Are we knitting during the movie?
no, sorry, we won't be. Nope, nope. It's just a movie. I apologize.
Okay. I
It's a
saw a note
movie.
and I'm like, are we knitting? And please consider donating. We're a nonprofit. Even a $5 donation helps us keep our events free and cover the cost of mailing our kits and our craft supplies, which are free. I see a hand.
So I just wanted to tell everyone that's watching on YouTube or something, I wanted them to also remember to hit that like button and to subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I almost forgot. Please like
Yeah.
and subscribe on YouTube.
Thank you so much. Big heart to you.
We have such smart crafters with us.
We do. I'm so impressed at these folks. Look at you folks. Ah, love it. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you at our next children's crafting event.
Thank you, everybody.